When last we left our intrepid adventurers, we were about to go on a new quest. We were going to go and replace the Serpent Queen.
Stop the Nazis by becoming the Nazis.
Yeah. She only made one real mistake, really.
Letting her guard down?
No, attempting to perpetuate pain slavery. Up till that point, she'd been doing all right.
The psychosis is real.
I see it starting.
But it's an inexcusable thing, so we're going to go put a stop to it. And the only opportunity we have for that is right at the beginning. So we're going back 1,500 years to... It's a time of strife in the Empire of Endless Flowers. It's an empire in name only. All the different factions are clashing with each other. The Empire has just suffered a surprising, unexpected defeat at Boyhawk against the dwarves. They've been so confident because the Empire is really good at warfare, but the dwarves managed to defeat them. And so all the different factions were blaming each other.
It was very unexpected, because that was a big thing from world building. In world building, we decided to roll on it, even though the Empire had a 9 out of 10 chance of winning, and the dwarves won. So it was a very unexpected upset.
So the ruling family of the Empire, that had been sort of in charge of everything to this point, they were suffering a series of assassinations.
What a bother.
As all their various factions were like, we don't know who we want, but we don't want them anymore. So the ruling family had been whittled down to the current heir, a woman by the name of Melody Lugner. And so
Melody Lugner.
Melody Lugner. Melody. And then she got poisoned too. So she's lingering on her deathbed. And surely if she dies, the Empire will fall apart because there will be no unifying force anymore. Fortunately, there was a hero who was willing to step up and help save the Empire. So yes, the brave Knight of the Banner, the Orange Knight, the Knight of the Phoenix, Sir Astrid, she decided to go on a great quest to save the Empire and the good Queen Melody. She went to find the Triforce, which is a legendary artifact that can grant any wish to one who is worthy. But then upon granting the wish, it breaks into its three parts that scatter the world again.
Yes, obviously it's exactly, I don't know to say it, but I just to make sure there's no real differences, it's clearly the Triforce from Zelda and Norman added it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how it has now come into the campaign.
Yes, it was a little unexpected.
It has 3 parts. In fact, even when he added it, he was like, I'm just adding this for fun. I don't expect it to come up in the campaign. Yeah. So it has the 3 parts: power, wisdom, and courage. Someone who's worthy to hold all 3 can then make a wish.
So legend has it that Sir Astrid went on this great quest and retrieved the Triforce.
Oh yeah.
But she died in the process. And she wasn't able to see the quest to fruition, but the Triforce was recovered, and a wish was made, and the Serpent Queen was saved.
She died in the process of getting the last piece, and so they built a huge tomb for her there to honor her name for all history or whatever. The Triforce piece isn't there anymore, but I guess the tomb is still there, so you can still go there to remember it or whatever.
So that's how the legends go. We've gone back in time, and we know exactly when to go because it's a national holiday in the Empire subsequently, the day the Queen was saved. It's like Christmas.
Queen's Day?
I don't know what it's called. Could be.
Empire Day. Excellent. Thank you.
Christmas.
No, not Hismas.
Brian's going to call a penalty.
That's what the bugbears celebrate on the day that she was killed.
So we arrive, and we're all dressed as, or disguised as, nobility of the time.
Oh, you're cosplaying.
Yes, we're cosplaying. And we're getting the word on the street. We're in the capital city, Sulhat, the heart of the garden, the center of the Empire of Endless Flowers. The most beautiful place, beautiful architecture, beautiful vegetation.
Beautiful Christmas decorations.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
They don't know it's Christmas yet.
Looks
It's
like
the first Christmas.
Renaissance buildings, and
Yeah.
this is the place where things just grow naturally in a garden form when no one does anything. You go into the wilderness and it looks like gardens.
There's manicured lawns and all that kind of stuff. So
Isn't it?
So we sort of get the word on the street. And we
What
find
season is it?
Summer, apparently.
I guess, yeah.
That's what it was in my mind.
Yeah. So
It's like Christmas in July.
word on the street is
It's gonna make so much. Yep. It's gonna work.
No, this is terrible. Yeah. So we're on the street, of course, as the queen has been poisoned, and she's on death's door.
And that's well known, but there's something that's not as well known that is it Cricket finds with her amazing
I
streetwising.
did a really good streetwising, and found out about. Was it just basically Sir Astrid had arrived, or
So
something like that?
they had sent out someone to get some magic artifact to get a witch, and a party had returned under secrecy of night last night.
Yeah.
So they must have the item.
So we figure what they're doing. I'm good. I got a lot of meat.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll take one.
We can split them.
So our original thought had been to claim to be healers and say, we'd like to have a crack at trying to save the queen from this poison.
Save!
Essentially, yeah. However, if they already have the Triforce, that's kind of pointless. There's no need for healers at this point.
Ooh, we have the Quattroforce.
So what we figure they need lawyers.
Right.
Because they are now, even as we speak, no doubt, frantically working on the details of the wish they're going to make.
Oh, I mean, you are already going to try to turn yourself into a snake, so it fits. You can use one costume for both.
Indeed. Well, we figured, because a high bluff score, that's a lawyer thing. So we disguised Cricket as a
Sure,
lawyer.
please.
I was sort of thinking it made more sense for Serendipity to be a lawyer, but she kept insisting no, her bluff score isn't high enough. So Cricket was going to be the lawyer. And the rest of them were my entourage, my legal aides, unpaid interns.
And a brief costume change later.
Yeah. So we go to the palace, the Grand Palace of Sulhat, one of the awesomest buildings in the world. And we bluff our way through the guards at the front, and we bluff our way deeper in, and we bluff. Wow, I had to roll some really high bluffs. At one point, one of the guys didn't fully believe us. How did that go? There was that guard.
There was the first guard. Getting into the inner chamber didn't require any real bluffing. He just saw you and you carried yourself like nobles, and he's like, okay, you can come in.
Yeah, you look like you know what you're doing. No, I remember now. There was a guy who was going to lead us to the actual bed chambers of Queen Melody.
Well, because there's like multiple layers.
Yeah.
Like you come in this room and there's like, as long as you look noble enough and don't say something stupid, you can get into the outer one. And then there's like a next layer. There was like 30 people milling around in there. And then there's a next layer where was like 6 people, and there was like benches, and they were trying to get into that tier.
Yeah.
And the guard takes Cricket aside and starts whispering on the way. So, are you guys really here to help, or maybe you're trying to do something a little different?
So I did some insight checks, and we were like, oh, this guy wants the queen to be assassinated. So we had to bluff to convince him that we were assassins coming to kill the queen. But not say it outright, because,
He offered. He said he would connect them with someone who would pay 1,000 gold. Was it?
Yeah.
Or
And I was like,
maybe it was 10,000. But
I was like,
yeah, it must have been 10,000.
I was like, we're well beyond money at this point here.
Yeah,
Whether
obviously they
she
didn't
lives
care.
or dies is not a matter of money.
But because
Yes, give us the money.
well, he didn't have it on him. He was just like he had some connection who had bribed him,
Yeah.
and so
And I was like, yeah, even if we were like legit assassins from this time period, this is like the fate of the Empire. Whether you are striving to save the queen or striving to kill the queen, either way, you're not going to do it because you were paid to do it.
Well, unless the amount is high enough.
But the big advantage is, of course, this guy was like, once they agreed to this deal, he's like, okay, just go down this hallway and I'll let you in.
We never agreed to a deal. We just sort of were like, yeah, we're going to do it. I don't think we agreed to a deal, did we?
I guess it doesn't really matter. I thought you did, but it's not really
Well,
relevant.
if we did, I'm going to want my 10,000 gold pieces afterwards. It's going to be hard to claim it, but anyway, whatever. So yeah, basically all the guys that don't want the queen assassinated, we managed to convince we were not assassins, and all the people that did want her assassinated, we convinced we were assassins. And so yeah, so we get to the queen's chamber. She's in this massive, sumptuous 4-poster bed, all pale and breathing shallowly and quickly, and
Coughing fits and
clearly she's
not even really conscious.
Thank you.
yeah. And there's a whole lot of guards there. They're all minions, of course, because we're really super high level. And there's this guy who we later decided was a gnome, who was the queen's lawyer, essentially, who was working on the, he was working on the documents. And there was the Triforce floating in the middle of the room. And Sir Astrid herself was here. And that was a surprise. Because history recorded she died on the quest to bring this thing here.
She had a very noble poise about her. And like she looked like a great hero of history. I think they did an Arcana check on her or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but she's
like a level 30 double solo or something.
Yeah, a level 30 solo soldier. She's a paladin. She's like a level 30 paladin. And she's here, basically standing right next to the Triforce while the lawyer is working on his thing.
Yeah. And so the rest of the party all had sort of a logical contradiction crash in their heads because they're like, but the queen is evil, but the knight is a incorruptible force of good. How is she? So they decided the queen must have tricked her something.
How do you know that Sir Astrid is a uncorruptible force for good?
That's true. Maybe she's evil. But
the knights are known for their they're basically avatars of heroism, created in world building as like legendary, a legendary entity. But yes.
Yeah, Serpent Queen, also known as dead.
Yes. Well, and Sir Astrid was supposed to have died. Sir Astrid was supposed to have died on the quest to get the Triforce, and they built a tomb there in her honor to make it really all fancy and stuff. So I can't think of any other explanation of how that could have happened.
Yeah. So something weird is going on. The party assumes that what happened is in our history, the Serpent Queen had her killed or something to cover up things and etc.
And then built a big fancy tomb to make a big deal out of it because she died way over here.
Yeah.
On the quest.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what really happened.
Or Sir Astrid killed the queen and became the Serpent Queen.
Yes, maybe that's what happened. Maybe. Yeah.
Like someone's trying to do.
Yeah.
Simpsons did it.
Suffice to say, whatever it was that happened isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we're here to make something else happen.
Right.
So Cricket approaches the actual lawyer, and he's all like, "What are you doing here?" And Cricket is like, "More eyes make all things shallow. I'm here to review the documents." And I think she rolled pretty high on the bluff, but something broke down somewhere very quickly.
Whatever she rolled on the bluff, it didn't succeed.
Wasn't quite high enough?
Yeah.
Okay, I know I rolled high.
You actually don't really know, but I
guess he's really good insight as a lawyer, so.
Yeah, he thought through this. Also, he had a bonus because it's like, no one should be here.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone here.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to make sure as little people know about this as possible, so they have to have less people to kill. I mean, who knows what might happen. But
so he raises the alarm.
Well, yeah. So what he did was he counter-bluffed them by saying, "Yeah, sure, okay," and they all fell for it, except for Gerard, but he didn't do anything about it because he was like in the back, and they were like, "Shut up, Gerard," and so he goes over, and then suddenly this kind of firework goes off right next to Cricket.
Oh right, he tried to frame me as to being
and he's like, "They're here to assassinate the queen! Kill them! Quick!" And all the guards draw their weapons, and of course Sir Astrid draws her weapon and says, "Those in the darkness who oppose the rule of good will suffer," or whatever a paladin would say, and will face justice. And so combat is joined.
Yep. And just rolled. So I got sort of perhaps inappropriately gleeful. I was like, "We're gonna get to kill one of the Knights of the Banner. It's a famous historical personage, and we get to kill her
with no repercussions."
Yeah. A big debate broke out about how to defeat her without killing her.
Croesus had this thing. One of the magic items he got from our killing of the army was an iron flash, which is like all about non-lethally capturing and containing things.
Yeah.
The problem is you got to fail like 3 saving throws in order to be permanently locked in it. So I have this ability that lets me debuff saving throws. But she's like a double solo. She's got a +5 saving throw.
Yeah.
So my debuff just makes her a regular, normal person. And it doesn't last the 3 rounds either. So we work it all out, and I think it was, a 1 in 16 chance of succeeding? So, yeah. Croesus...
By any chance they can thwart my plans, it's like...
Yeah.
That's their greatest joy.
Yeah. We're like, you spent hours prepping this combat. Let's see if we can one-shot the whole thing and bypass it.
I don't think they realized how much time I'd spent prepping at this point because they were like,
Yeah, he later said hours, but at the time, yeah.
no, I
It
just
was
mean
just
that
a good
it's just
idea.
like at this point I think it was just like, oh, there's a tough good guy here. We don't want to fight a tough good guy.
Yeah.
We're not the baddies. At least not yet.
Starting off your career at Serpent by killing a paladin. Because you're not evil.
Well, we tried not killing her, but she didn't go along with it. Anyway.
Yeah, so they got her in the Iron Flask.
And
Oh,
then,
1 out of 16 worked.
well, no, just
Oh,
the first shot.
Yeah, staying in the
Got her
Iron
in.
Flask is a 1 out of 16.
Yeah,
Getting her in is like a 50-50.
yeah. So I got her in, and she failed her first save, so she stayed in there for a round. And we took that opportunity to nuke all of the minions.
Right.
And it was actually kind of
And
sad.
lock the door and
Yeah.
pull portal.
Seal the room.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of sad because Serendipity has all these minion popping spells, but in order to get Sir Astrid into the flask, both Croesus and Cricket had to go first. And the thing that I used to debuff her saving throw was an area effective. And so by the time it got to Serendipity, there were no minions left. We had knocked them all out.
Right.
You want to have a drink here?
Just water. Well, sure.
We need to minimize all the killing because of Jenga Tower. So we knocked out all the minions. They went down real quick, including the lawyer. So we get her in the flask, and she saves out of it after a round in there, unfortunately. Comes back out. But while she was in there, we were frantically thinking about what's the next step in our plan. And I'm like, what plan? We didn't really have a plan. We're making this up as we go.
Sounds familiar?
So I propose, okay, right at this moment, there's no one in the room. Sir Astrid is sealed in the flask, everyone's unconscious.
I might take one last long steak.
I will use my hand disguise myself as the queen, swap right now.
Right.
You guys just run.
Right.
And then I'll be all like,
Sure, I'll take the look.
like that, and then they'll do the wish and it'll all
Yes.
work out. Everything will work out.
Yeah.
John was misunderstanding us as we were planning this. He kept thinking that we were going to like get the Triforce and get the wish scroll or whatever and do the stuff ourselves, and that was going to take a whole bunch of time.
Right.
Not like the fraction of seconds that we had.
Right.
And so he was a bit confused about all that.
I just didn't understand why they were trying to do it because I thought they were just going to try to do the wish and then Sir Astrid would
Yeah.
come back before she came back as if somehow that would help.
Yeah.
If anything, it would harm because probably Cricket will be disoriented in her new body.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, we were just going to swap them out and let history take its course. But no, she gets out of the flask. And John, I guess, breathes a secret sigh of relief. And then I go, timeless trek in the Trending. we can have another round. At which point John spends a cinematic point. Because he had done the whole lot of prep. Damn it, he was going to play this card.
I think that's the first time I've like done that kind of like, no, this is happening.
Yeah.
This whole in like last
Yeah.
2 campaigns.
And it's fair. I mean,
Some of the players seem kind of bitter about it, but
no,
they can bite me.
I was fine.
It's
Fine,
worth, it's
fine.
worth the
Yeah.
upcoming cinematic.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he had to spend a cinematic point is basically the vindication that we had an awesome plan.
Right.
We didn't need to actually execute it. It was vindication that we had thwarted him.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was like, no, that totally would have worked, but I want to have this combat, so cinematic point. So what happens is, as I'm prepping to do the timeless trek, the Triforce realizes that its chosen champion is actually in trouble. And this was apparently something John had planned out to have happen when Sir Astrid got bloodied. But I think she'd taken like 50 hit points of damage or
Almost
something
nothing.
trivial. It was trivial
Yeah.
at this point. But I was about to timeless trekker. And so the Triforce went, I'd better do the jump to the mid-combat gambit right now. And it did this thing that caused her to split into 3 Astrids. One representing her power, one representing her courage, and one representing her wisdom.
Right.
Her wisdom one, aptly enough, sucked.
It was the weak point, that's
Yep.
for sure. It wasn't really intentional, but it came out well enough. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
She was duped into helping the evil empire despite being good. So it was fair enough that her wisdom sucked.
Yeah. But man, we're all scared of her power. Holy cow!
Her power is like an uber over, way more than would even make sense. Like armored knight with a way too big sword.
Yeah.
I was imagining kind of like an Iron Knuckle from Zelda.
Yeah.
And her courage looks a lot like her, but decked out more like a general with a fancy cape, and was like taking charge and giving +5 to all allies to hit. I don't even remember because she
never really had a chance to do all that much.
And her wisdom had angel wings and was glowing with a
It sucked.
with like a white light, and also sucked as it turns out.
Basically,
inside the room.
we had the brute,
Yeah.
the leader, and wisdom was like a controller healer type, I believe. I'm sure that stats wise she was pretty tough. It's just we kept doing things that kept her out of the fight. and the things we did were almost coincidentally keeping her out of the fight. It was sad, but yeah.
So you fought Triastric.
We were fighting Triastric. Now Power, man, she had like these like power attacks that did like 400 hit points damage. She could one-shot Croesus.
Wow.
Well,
It was
not
ridiculous.
always, because normally it wasn't
Yeah.
quite one shot. Because, well, I guess we're going to explain that later. But, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
She could regularly do 100 damage on a hit, and like the party has about 200 health,
Yeah.
or not quite. Like the defender has 200 hit points.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 150.
And so it was actually kind of an interesting dilemma because she's just like a massive damage powerhouse, but courage gave +5 to hit for the other two.
Yeah.
So, and she could heal 200 hit points recharged on a 6.
Right.
Not herself, but the others.
Yeah.
So they decided to take out courage first. It was actually kind of funny because just listening to them, like, okay, I'm going to move courage here, and then I'm going to hit power. And
And we'll all ignore wisdom. Wisdom has nothing to do with this fight.
Sounds like most adventuring parties.
So a mighty battle ensued.
Yeah. Of course, our typical gambit was in play. Most of the damage was being done by us causing them to hit each other. And we're even worse for her. The Triforce was doing this thing where it gave this rotating boon. Every round it would give a boon to one of the three. And it was tailored to their thing.
Yeah.
And so first it gave the boon to power, which like doubled her damage or something ludicrous like that.
double damage.
And so we were like, that was the round we made power hit everyone.
Yeah, it was actually great because power hit courage, did massive damage, and then wisdom said something about power without wisdom is dangerous.
And then it got smacked.
And then we had power.
Courage was like, never fear, we will overcome. And power was like,
Power said that a lot. So, something we actually didn't go into detail in the last Tale Telling, John realizes afterwards, was Hank's Dastria thing. When Hank leveled up, he got this new ability, which was like a sort of a Paragon Kalashtar thing that allows him to actually take the form of his other soul's self. So he now entered this combat looking like Dastria, and actually being Dastria. So, pretty female elf. But she's got Hank's abilities. So she's a raging barbarian. And one of her things is, one of Hank's things is, he enters this rage and becomes size large. And so Dastria, frothing at the mouth, became this huge, large version of Dastria. And she's like going at Power, who's also a huge, so it's like a battle of these two giant women.
and Gerard was a giant wolf
And
too.
Gerard was a
the room
giant
was
wolf.
really full.
It was super packed. When John drew the room out, I was like, I would have thought that the queen would have a larger bedroom. And he's like, I've already made it larger than it should be. But I didn't know why at the time, but
This isn't her bedroom. It's her dying room.
it's her dying room. Well, it's got her bed in it.
What was she doing during the fight?
Laying there.
Yeah, okay.
Believing she's having hallucinations, probably.
That's probably the best.
Anyway, so yeah, giant Dastria is just pounding away at Power, and Power is like, pounding away at Courage, and yeah,
There was an interesting moment where Croesus. Oh, I remember the powers. I forget what the name is. It's like it's not immovable, but it's something. And basically, it has a list of every status effect it's immune to, and it's basically everyone cannot be dominated, stunned, dazed, pushed. Like everything, anything.
Yeah.
And it also had this ability. So Croesus, first thing he did is use the cinematic point to stare it down, power down, and say, "It's just you and me." And because it was a cinematic point, it worked, which was actually fantastic for the party because power had a recharge ability where it could just move at speed, and damage everyone it moved through. Just like bam, 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 and doing like 100 hit points damage each time. And it was on those double turns, so that would have been pretty catastrophic. I probably should have planned that better. Double damage is probably too much. Luckily, the Croesus thing worked, so power just attacked Croesus. And Croesus was pretty cocky, but then Hank used an ability to like create this weird vortex so that they kind of popped around, and instead the blow landed on Courage and did 220 damage because it was doubled.
Yeah.
And Croesus' hit points are like 205.
Yeah.
But Croesus was like, smug because he has that ability where if he's in his defensive thing, which he always is, he 50% chance no damage, 50% chance half damage. So he's like, I'll be fine. And that was when I revealed he has an ability, nothing can reduce the damage. And this isn't even something I made up. This is from, I ripped this off from another monster. But it was, there's nothing that can reduce the damage that comes out from his attacks, or her attacks, I should say.
So it would have been a 50% chance of one shot.
Croesus would have gone down,
He's
not just 50% chance. Like the no damage thing would have also not worked.
That wouldn't have worked either. Oh, okay.
So
he would have just gone down.
Yeah.
All right. Well. So, wham! Hits the other guy.
Right.
I think Cricket has spent the whole combat so far invisible. I've got like 8 different ways of turning invisible, and I've just been going through them one by one every time my turn comes around.
The Courage's main ability
I still took 50 hit points somehow. I can't remember how that happened, but
was being a defender to make people attack her, which was unfortunate because everyone decided to take her out first anyway.
Right.
It was an interesting choice, right? Do you take out the massive damage or the +5 to hit first, right?
Yeah.
And they decided. So she did this ability that it was where she forced everyone. She did like this thunder and lightning sort of smite thing, and then everyone was marked by her, and they could only get line of effect to her save ends, or for one round.
Yeah.
So like you just could not attack anyone but her, period. And which is still useful, even if they're attacking her, they can't use area attacks, right?
Yeah.
And but that was kind of pointless because they were all going to attack her anyway. And she also did a thing. She used her action point, and she did a thing about evil will fall, and everyone fell prone and couldn't get up to save ends.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
Right.
Most people
That's
fell
right.
prone.
Well,
Because it was people. She only did, that was people adjacent to her.
I used the gloves of camaraderie and fell down on Hank's behalf. That was funny.
Should I fall for you, sir?
And it was fine because I'm using ranged attacks and I'm invisible. So what does it matter that I'm prone?
Yeah. You just take a sniper position.
Yeah. So I think everyone that fell prone saved out of it that round anyway. So we were lucky on the saves. But yeah.
The big thing that happened is, and that this is what really sucked for Wisdom, is both Power and Courage were immune to domination, but Wisdom was not immune to domination, and that was her downfall.
Serendipity got a crit on her, and it was an extreme crit with a +6 thing, so she was able to get the most extreme crit. And it was dominated until the end of encounter. So Wisdom is ours now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she sucks. So,
well, that's not. And actually, she doesn't really suck in that sense.
Yeah.
But when you're dominated, you can only use your at wills. So that's most of her awesomeness is not in her at wills.
Yeah.
But she was totally neutralized. Because even before that, she had been dominated for one round. And
I'd forgotten that was why Wisdom was basically sitting this combat out.
Yeah, she just sat there the whole time, just sort of dazed, doing what Serendipity said.
Slapping things. Yeah.
And Serendipity has a thing, although this didn't really come up, it doesn't really help that much, but she has like a feat or something that when she dominates, the character that's dominated gets their full complement of actions. They still can only take at wills, skills, but they can move and whatever. Though that was not really useful because she didn't need her to move. But
Yeah.
I'm not used to the wisdom being on the party's side.
That's unusual.
Yep. So, at the end of the session, we haven't finished the combat yet, but Courage was taking a massive beating and was like just bleeding on death's door. Courage was terribly beat up. Still really confident though.
and she'd been knocked to the corner by the bed by the massive blow of power.
Yeah.
And someone had, I think it was Gerard.
Working, I'll finish up then.
I think I'm all done here.
Yeah, I'm grabbing some.
Gerard had critted. That's right. Gerard critted like 3 times, twice in one round.
Yeah.
And because first he critted, he did what was it, Blood Moon Frenzy, and critted the groin of power
With a bite attack.
as a wolf.
And we all started making innuendos about Blood Moon and all that kind of stuff. But it was not our usual style of banter, but we were kind of forced into it because, a giant wolf bit power in the groin.
And then the giant wolf did something. I don't remember just what the attack was. I think it was another bite. Oh yeah, because after she resolved all the crits, it did massive damage, like 200 damage to Courage, and had it all like figured out. Then people started moving on. She's like, wait, I have to describe what I do. I bite him, or bite her, I should say.
Yeah.
And so she was very badly hurt. In fact, she had 15 hit points, and she started at 1,000.
And so
Hank
we were
decided
just
to
wrapping
finish
up.
it off.
Yeah, Hank wanted to land a finishing blow, and he rolled, and he missed. And he's like, wait, I gotta fight, and we're just like going through every possible
I'm done,
way.
thank you.
Yeah, sure.
He rolled in a gambler's 8, and he just managed to land a blow. After digging up every possible way to buff that roll he could. And did he do enough damage, or did we also have to buff the damage?
Well, no, it was he. So he tried to, but he came up with some other way to do it. I don't remember what it was, and then that also missed.
Yeah.
And so we were like, hey, whatever. I guess we'll have to shut down. So I shut down the session. I turned off the music and whatever. And then we were just like wrapping up, and he's like, wait, I have an action point. So I like go back in, turn on the music,
Back on.
That's it, thank you.
and he rolls for his action point, and it connects.
Yeah.
So he killed Courage. She just kind of disappeared, faded away, and the other two seemed to have lost their nerve. They seemed less courageous.
Yeah.
And that piece of the Triforce stopped glowing, and it just went back to its normal state.
So we just got to deal with power. And we haven't really been bothering. So I think power is still pretty much
At full.
full. So
Other than one nibble to the crotch.
I was actually Courage.
Oh,
that
it was
got-
Courage?
Was
I
it
thought you
Courage who
said-
got bit by Blood Moon Frenzy?
I think it was power.
Was it power? Okay, I guess.
That's what you said.
And yeah, I'm sure it was power.
Yeah.
And also, maybe it was, or maybe I'm thinking of it because at that time Courage was standing next to power. So maybe I'm confused there. They did hit each other some, like Courage and
Oh yeah, when
Wisdom hit power.
Yeah,
a
at
few
the
times.
beginning there, I had everyone hitting everyone else, so everyone's taking some damage. Yeah. I can't remember how I took my 50 hit points of damage, but it's the Clash of Titans. There's going to be splashing of almost inconsequential attacks, but they would vaporize a low-level character. So.
I'm wondering how the guards and the lawyer are doing after
We've been
power's been
stomping around on them.
There are some guards banging on the door that's hold portal.
Yeah.
It probably would be best for them if they don't succeed.
So thinking ahead, presumably once we defeat Power and Wisdom, Sir Astrid will go back to being Sir Astrid the regular. This was a scripted combat that was supposed to go off when she was bloodied, so hopefully the game will reset her as bloodied. That would be my hope. I hope there's a bug. That would make things easier. But even so, we then have to either timeless trek her, and then in that one round that we've got guaranteed, swap out the Serpent Queen and have everyone. There's no windows in this room. We can't dive through a window, can we? Everyone's gonna have to cram under the bed.
teleport, get into the basement under the bed.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like you would want to have windows in your room, but probably it's not
Yeah, not
wise.
secure. Do we still have the portable hole? Not portable hole. The teleport hole thing.
Yeah, you still have it.
We should have set that up ahead of time. We weren't really planning very well, were we?
No.
You could,
Yeah.
I guess, get someone to do it now while you're still fighting.
Well, ideally one would be set up somewhere else so that the party could skedaddle. We didn't think of that. We should have thought of
Go in
that.
the basement.
Yeah, that might be. We would like to have Serendipity be present so that she could lock down time. We lost all our plates, and there's the. Yeah, so it would be good. It would be good to have Serendipity here to present when the wish is cast, to lock that moment in time, so that we never have to deal with this again.
Right.
That's true.
So perhaps.
Assuming you do it correctly.
I guess
So
you guys.
perhaps we may have to actually fight Sir Astrid in Sir Astrid form and knock her out, so that we can have enough time to wake the lawyer up and have him do the thing.
I'm surprised you didn't do any kind of like double time trekking. Like remember when you went to fight the brother, you did some double time trekking.
That causes a big problem.
Yeah, we may, if we can't get Serendipity in position to lock the moment down, it might be a good idea to have her loop back and lock the moment down. Because if she's not actually participating in the fight, that should be a little bit less destructive.
Or
on
what you
time.
do is you loop back, and the second party is disguised and helps chase off the assassins, which then gives you an in the room.
Yeah, I don't know.
Turns out the party was the guards all along.
Well, I guess you guys have hats of disguise, right? So I guess
Yeah, we are banging on
Serendipity
the
could
door.
disguise herself as a guard,
Oh,
but then
yeah.
how would she? I don't know how she'd cast a spell, but she could probably get away with being there.
Just ignore me.
Yeah.
You guys could all just become guards.
All the guards throw the regular guards into the basement. Yeah, that's right. We could do that.
I'm surprised you didn't do just a scouting mission to start with, and then
We
like
sort of were.
It kind of was. It
and
just
then
turned
it was
into
like
this.
we turned out to have arrived right at the
Exactly,
time.
yeah.
And also there were all these really high level characters that were seeing through our bluffs and
Right.
stuff like that. So we kind of got
things
stuck.
didn't quite turn out how they expected either,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah, I was kind of considering it as a scouting mission, and then it just was snowballing, and then we're like, well, I guess we're in it this deep.
right.
There's nowhere to go but forward.
Do it live.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Yeah, because that Astrid being there. is a
Yeah,
big
that was
surprise.
a big surprise. History doesn't record her being here. So
Did she become the queen, or did she?
that
well, actually, one thing that came out.
Okay, there we go.
Consuming the Triforce wish consumed
I'm not
her?
good with computers.
Maybe it requires a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Well, one thing also
Maybe
that
she just knows too Maybe.
that I kind of helped them realize
He was
is
hinting at.
in order to like it's history records that I guess the person who became the Serpent Queen made the wish, but what the requirement is that someone who's worthy has to make the wish. So
We may need to get Sir Astrid to make the wish.
Right.
so you may not be able to just knock her out. You might have to.
Well, we need to
Wait,
we
so
need to get
there's
her
no
out.
actual good people in the party? They won't be able to do it?
Oh, they might be able to. Do you
not
want to take the
heroes.
risk though?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Benjarod.
Because if you're
Benjarod
unworthy and
keeps-
you try to grab it, it shoots away
Yeah.
to 3 random locations.
Benjarod keeps going, and we're like, no,
Yeah, it was pretty good. He was like, I'm gonna get it, and then like partway through the combat, they're like all strategizing, and he's like, wait, maybe I should just grab the Triforce.
And we're like, no.
Even if they are worthy now, killing Sir Astrid makes them not worthy.
Well, if we can get Sir Astrid to go night-night for a round, that will give us the opportunity
Yeah,
to
to swap and
swap
leave.
around and shuffle.
Make her night.
And she's
And
she's
then
totally
she'll
gonna
wake
buy
up.
it.
Well,
These
yes,
super high level
she's
people
gonna-
come in,
Yes,
cause
she's-
this huge fight, and then just disappear.
Apparently, she's gullible.
Yeah, I like it.
That's what everyone believes, anyway. So yeah.
Where did they go?
I don't know. Now here's the fun
All these
part.
guards in ill-fitting clothes.
Here's the fun part. The second time through, when Cricket is Sir Astrid,
Yeah, you got to go back in time and do the quest as Sir Astrid, so that you are the worthy one, so you can wish yourself to become Serpent
I
Queen.
have to make sure I
then
have
you go through and do the fight. And they're going, this is gonna hurt.
I have to make sure my bluff score is high enough that I can convince the Triforce that I'm a good person.
Well, as long as you do this before you go all Nazi.
Anyway, I think we can pull this off. We just need to get Sir Astrid back in one body.
Yeah.
if we can clonk her over the head for a couple of rounds, then that's
Set up an
ideal.
illusion so that when she returns, she like attacks you again and eats you.
I don't think we need to go to that. Like, when she wakes up, the battle is over. Some of the guards are struggling to their feet. The lawyer is struggling to his feet, and the queen is just about dead. She's got one round. Hurry! Then, yeah.
Well, I mean, one presumes when she returns to her normal form, she'll probably give some sort of speech like, you still will not prevail against me. And then if the party's like at the door and they look at each other, she'll be like, yeah, this happens all the time. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or the party's corpses are on the floor.
But they are. But one thing is, they despite the fact that they're beating up this paladin, they might actually be able to do something good because they could. They can boulder her and bring her back at baseline because presumably in the proper timeline she was killed.
Yeah.
Possibly by the Serpent Queen to shut her up, but in any case, she's supposed to die, so they could actually save her from dying. They have to beat her up a little first, but
It's for her own good.
Serpent.
It's for the greater good.
Yeah.
You just have to punch her in the face
Greater
until,
good.
That
until
was
it becomes
Cricket's monologue was all like, okay, we just have to kill this paragon of virtue so that we can assassinate the Serpent Queen. We're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing.
For the greater good.
like stab till you're a good person.
I wasn't really expecting to fight the knight. She's the Knight of the Phoenix. Yeah. I think we can pull this off. We just need to knock her out for a round. Then we can do all this stuff. And, I mean, once the wish is cast, we've reached the victory goal. And then we can sort everything out after that. Because at that point, we're locked in. We're victorious. Nothing can go wrong.
Right. Cricket won't
We
go.
have
Totally
this,
won't go.
We
either.
have this complete, not in a round.
What round or in like the 1500 years?
Yes, but that comes later.
Right.
Deal with stuff as it comes.
Right.
It's been working so far.
Wishes can do funny things.
No,
We'll
it'll be
cross
fine.
this.
It'll be fine. I actually have the next 1500 years planned out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can cross that gore-soaked bridge when you get to it.
I will make sure the bridge is much better designed this time around.
Right, it'll have little hooks.
No drainage. Don't want it to be gore-soaked.
That's how we'll make it better.
Anyway. So that's where things stand. Next week, we'll finish the fight, save the world, be big damn heroes.
Awesome.
Yeah. by defeating the Knight of the Pen.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
All right, big sister. You and me. Come on. Hit me. Hit me. You know you want to. No, that wasn't me. Hit me. Hit me. Come on, stop trying to hit me. And hit me.
We're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing. We have to defeat the great and noble Knight of the Banner that is renowned for having saved the Serpent Queen so that we can kill the Serpent Queen. We're doing the right thing. Yes, we're doing the right thing. Yes, okay, we're doing the right thing.
I don't think we're doing the right thing.
I can't seem to hit anything here. These things are so big and powerful, but I'm too. Maybe I'm just not used to this body. Maybe I just need to unleash my inner Hank and just get mad and
Cricket's plan is perfect. And swapping her with the queen while still on her deathbed, brilliant plan. It would have worked well. So why are these Then it all went wrong.